Good evening and thank you for joining us. We begin with breaking news from Newfoundland and Labrador tonight. After just over 4 years in power, Dwight is stepping down as Premier of the province.
Tonight, I'm announcing that my time in politics is coming to an end. It's time for me to spend more time with my family and friends in Deer Lake and to live a more private life.
Our Atlantic correspondent Ross Lord has been speaking to his sources and joins us now. Ross, the Premier was facing a leadership review. Was this a preemptive move on his part?
I think it's a fair question, Robin, because there have always been rumblings that members of Ball's caucus were unhappy with him. And we know from our sources that there are plenty of people who want his job, caucus members or other people with Liberal connections. And Ball has also been dogged by scandals over a big patronage appointment and by finances, the crushing provincial debt, and also the massive overrun for the Muskrat Falls Hydro Project construction. Newfoundlanders and Labradorians feared that to pay that overspending back, their electrical rates were going to go through the roof. And just last week, Ball and the federal government announced a plan to keep the lid on power rates. The timing of that announcement tonight as part of Ball's legacy makes more sense.
Ross, how does this play out with the federal Liberal government in Ottawa?
Well, it's interesting because Trudeau and Ball, their political careers have sort of paralleled each other in some ways. Ball won that big majority in 2015 in the afterglow of Trudeau's big victory, and the fortunes of both leaders took a hit last year when the federal and Newfoundland Liberals were both knocked down to minority status. When Ball came to power, he became one of 7 Liberal premiers. Today, only Newfoundland and Labrador and Nova Scotia are run by provincial Liberals. Ball does say he'll continue to represent his riding on the province's west coast until the next election, which in a minority could happen pretty much any time. And if power does change hands, that will present yet another potential challenge for Prime Minister Justin Trudeau.
Ross Lord, thanks. There's an about face tonight from the New Brunswick government on healthcare reforms it announced last week. The province will now keep overnight hospital emergency services. The cash-strapped government has discovered there's a high price to pay for trying to save healthcare dollars. Once again, here's Ross Lord.
For New Brunswick Premier Blaine Higgs, declaring a healthcare crisis is easy.
An aging demographic coupled with a growing labor force shortage is hampering our ability to provide the right care in the right place at the right time.
The hard part is finding solutions. Last week, the government announced unprecedented measures, a plan to close 6 hospital emergency departments during overnight hours, moving doctors and other staff to daytime shifts when there's more demand. Suddenly, the Premier is backing off.
I can't in good conscience move forward without addressing the concerns and fears that have been brought to light.
Higgs says the affected communities had more questions than health authorities could answer. Now, instead of using Family Day to protest the cuts, people are expressing relief.
We need our lab, we need our X-ray department, and most of all, we need our emergency room, and I'll do everything I can to make sure that happens.
Some see New Brunswick's about face as a lesson to other parts of Canada as they look to improve or at least maintain their health care.
I think what they can learn is that any time they're looking at serious change that's going to affect people, their lives, they have to realize all the factors, the politics of it, the money of it, but also people's genuine fears and emotions, that they're worried about themselves, they're worried about their loved ones.
Since Thursday, New Brunswick's progressive Conservative government lost the support of 2 key MLAs, including Deputy Premier Robert Gauvin, who resigned from the party. With their minority government in danger of being toppled, Higgs now says he'll consult with communities over the spring and summer, suggesting any changes won't happen for a while. A new position for a would-be healthcare reformer who is now in retreat. Ross Lord, Global News, Halifax.